Here are the signs that you should be cutting someone out of your life. Number 11. The bad jokes never stop. I hope I don't have to tell you guys that bullying isn't okay, but some people just don't know any better. Yes, bullying starts young, but it can absolutely run into the adult world because some people never grow up. Now, I'm not saying to be completely sensitive and cry at every little light ribbing that your friends give you, because making fun of each other is part of being a guy. But when you have people around you that only does that to you or someone else, then that means there's something wrong with them. These are the type of people who take things way too far, and they just don't get that they're completely negative and no fun to be around in social situations. Obviously, the first step is to let these type of people know what they're doing and tell them to stop. If they don't, after your mini interventions, then you just have to completely avoid these type of people. At some point in our lives, we all have to mature and behave like proper human beings, and to be honest, some people don't grow out of it. They constantly look for ways to put other people down, and whether it's in a joking way or not. Basically, they're just insecure about themselves, but they just don't know how to deal with their own issues. Just don't be the one to put up with them. The easiest way to figure out who these people are, just ask yourself, do I really enjoy hanging out with this person? Number 10. They're never wrong. Everyone is human and makes mistakes. Everyone. If you know someone that's always right and never admits they're wrong, whether it's in an argument or something they did, then this is a major red flag that they're just not someone you want to associate with. These are possibly the type of stubborn people who like to make long and mundane debates out of every possible topic. Especially if you guys disagree with an issue, they're the type to not be able to drop it. They just don't get that it's okay that people have disagreements, and they have to win every argument. They keep convincing everyone they're right and won't shut up even when confronted with the fact that different people may have different opinions about different things. Agree to disagree isn't in their vocabulary. How much fun is it really to hang with someone that just can't ever admit they're wrong? A lot of time in the end, it doesn't even matter whether or not a mistake was made or who was wrong or right. What matters is the fact that the person can acknowledge it. Some people somehow just don't get this. Number 9. Social media 24/7. Here's a good way to see how much confidence someone has. Just see how many posts they do on social media. How much validation does someone really need? When someone is posting on social media 24/7, and it's not for business, it's a big sign of self-esteem issues. I simply love how social media allow people to create their own realities, when in real life, things are completely different. While it's certainly understandable that some people post things once in a while to let friends and family know what they're up to, too much posting really just reveals that that person needs consistent validation. Whether it's always posting selfies to try and get likes on how they look, or posting pics of flying business class somewhere, these type of people need to feel special about themselves. If someone is having that much fun in life and they need to consistently post on social media, the truth is they probably don't have half the fun they're trying to convince people they do. Think about the best time you've had recently. Did you even get your phone out of your pocket? Nah, probably not, because you were too busy having fun. Number 8. The SHIRKER. Relationships are supposed to be mutually beneficial. There's a natural give and take. Now, there really isn't supposed to be a specific tit-for-tat type deal, but really, things should even out. However, some relationships grow toxic when one person begins to give a disproportionate amount, or one person only wants to take. Here's what you need to think about. Friends who always forget their wallets at home and never pick up the tab? Or those friends who always ask to split the tab evenly when they're the only ones to get an appetizer, 3 drinks, and a dessert during the night out with the group? And the worst type of person is the type of dude who asks you for gas money even though they literally drove you 100 feet down the road. Actually, the worst type is actually the person who's the complete opposite, the type of people who split everything down to the exact penny. Seriously, these people need to understand when to let go of 20 cents in the grand scheme of things. Number 7. The complainer. Is the glass half empty or half full? We all have good things happening for us, and we all have bad things happening for us. We just have to choose which side to focus on. Complainers, the worst, because they're the type of people who just spread their negativity around, whether knowingly or not. They always complain and wallow in their problems and never ever do anything to change their problems, even if the solution is super obvious. People often feel pressure to listen to complainers because they don't want to be seen as callous or rude, but there's a fine line between lending a sympathetic ear and getting sucked into their negative emotional spiral. Let's compare this to smoking. If the complainer were smoking, would you sit there all afternoon inhaling the secondhand smoke? You distance yourself, and you should do the same thing with complainers. These are people who choose to focus on the bad in life, and they never work on bettering their situation. And they're looking to pull anyone into their pity party, just like crabs in a bucket. Number 6, the gossiper. Gossipers really just derive pleasure from other people's misfortunes. They talk about other people because really nothing is going on in their life, and they literally have nothing to talk about. They're not working on making their life better, and their life is so boring that they have to talk about other people all the time. Of course, it's a guilty pleasure for pretty much everyone to hear about a certain person's personal or professional mistakes from time to time. But if that's all someone does, over time, it's just tiring. While it's true that there are many things we can learn from the misfortunes of other people, having to hear about the same type of misfortunes over and over is pointless. We have to focus on our own life and the goals we want to achieve. I'm sure you guys have heard about this saying by Eleanor Roosevelt: great minds discuss ideas, average ones discuss events, and small minds discuss people. Number 5, they're passive-aggressive. This type of person can be the friend who gives you the cold shoulder to the colleague who CCs emails to your boss. One of the most common forms of passive aggression is a drastic reduction of effort. Passive-aggressive type of people have great difficulty receiving criticism and just conflict in general. Passive aggression is just bad. These type of people just can't put what needs to be placed on the table in order for progress to continue. Behaving in a passive-aggressive manner indicates a clear lack of confidence to stand up and deal with the situation, and it just says that the person would rather take the easy way out. When you find someone behaving passive-aggressively towards you, just call these people out. Passive-aggressive types typically act the way they do because they're trying to avoid the issue at hand. If you don't bring on yourself to talk about the issue openly, you may just find yourself joining in the mind games. Number 4, they're always the victim. When it comes to emotional manipulators, nothing is ever their fault. No matter what they do or fail to do, it's always someone else's fault. Someone else made them do it, and usually it's somehow your fault. If you get mad or upset, it's your fault for having unreasonable expectations. If they get mad, it's your fault for upsetting them. These type of people won't take accountability for anything they do. Victims are tough to identify because you initially empathize with their problems, but as time passes, you begin to realize that their time of need is all the time. Victims actively push away any personal responsibility by making every speed bump they encounter into an uncrossable mountain. They don't see tough times as opportunities to learn and grow. Instead, they see these opportunities as an out. There's an old saying, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. It perfectly captures the toxicity of the victim who chooses to suffer every time. Number 3, they're an emotional black hole. Whatever emotional manipulators are feeling, they're geniuses at sucking everyone around them into those emotions. If they're in a bad mood, everyone around them knows it. But that's not the worst part. They're so skillful that not only is everyone aware of their mood, they feel it too. This creates a tendency for people to feel responsible for this person's mood and feel obliged to fix them. Remember that no one should be making you feel bad all the time, especially when you've done absolutely nothing wrong. Apart from emotionally wearing you down, you might even spend your days feeling bad without really understanding why you feel that way. Whenever someone is just filled with drama, just do the easiest and best thing to do. Cut them off and enjoy the extra stress-free moments. Number 2, the one-upper. These people are probably the worst of the worst. How annoying is it that something genuinely great happens to you, you're telling the story to a group, and the one-upper either brings up the fact that they've had it better or they say it's not a big deal. These are the type of people you can't really have an honest conversation with because they always have something better or worse on everything you do, no matter how big or small. Apart from you not being able to talk about anything, you're very likely forced to listen to their own achievements or problems because, of course, they're more important. No matter what problems you may have, one-uppers have had it worse. They undermine the legitimacy of your complaints by reminding you that their problems are more serious. These people don't really understand that not everything is a competition, and it's about knowing when to shut up and listen to the other person talking. Number 1, look at me! While it's true that sometimes there are gonna be moments we all are gonna have a look at me moment once in a while, having a person who's all about the money, status, and prestige around you is absolutely draining. People that only care about what people think about them all the time are just seeking attention for all the wrong reasons, and these people just suck the energy out of you. You should stay away from people who just won't shut up and use every possible occasion to comment something about money or status. Cars, designer clothing, technology, anything and everything. You guys know the type. These are the type of people who won't be seen without the latest Louis handbag, or they're the type to always brag about their achievements and it's always about them. Obviously, I'm not against having actual nice stuff, but it's completely different when someone just wants to show off their status or money just to feel better about themselves. These are the type of people that are always just waiting for you to finish talking so they can talk about themselves. Here's what's next. Unique look. In case you haven't noticed, this girl is jacked as hell. This babyface bodybuilder, dubbed Muscle Barbie, has gone from Instagram star to entrepreneur after setting up her own website to keep thousands of fans.